There are places on this earth where danger does not announce itself, where the air feels heavier, the shadows linger longer, and the silence presses against your mind. These locations are not marked on tourist maps. They are not whispered about in storybooks. They are real, and they have claimed people for reasons no one can fully explain. Some vanish entirely. Some return altered, carrying stories they cannot fully articulate. Others leave behind only traces of themselves, a warning unheeded. Across continents and centuries, these locations share an unnerving consistency. Isolation, distortion of perception, sudden terror, and the unmistakable feeling that the land itself is watching. In the northern Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, January 27, 1959, began like any other frigid winter day. 9 hikers, led by Igor Dyatlov, departed from the small mining town of Izhey on an expedition to cross Kolit-Syakhl, known locally as Dead Mountain. These were experienced university students, trained in skiing and survival, well-equipped for temperatures that regularly plunge below minus 30 degrees Celsius. Their plan was clear, their morale high. They intended to reach the eastern slopes and descend into the valley, sending telegrams along the way to confirm progress. On January 28th, the group sent their last message, noting that conditions were manageable and spirits high. By the evening of February 1st, everything had changed. Search teams later found the group's tent on a slope, partially buried by snow, with the fabric cut open from the inside. Shoes, coats, and supplies had been abandoned. Footprints led outward into the dark forest, where temperatures hovered around minus 32 degrees Celsius. Some hikers had fled barefoot, despite the lethal cold. When bodies were eventually discovered, weeks later, the scene defied explanation. 2 were found in the snow, frozen in death, showing no signs of struggle. Others lay scattered over a distance of 1.5 kilometers. Some bore catastrophic internal injuries, fractured ribs, crushed skulls, soft tissue trauma, with no external wounds. One young woman was missing her tongue. Another had her eyes removed. Radioactive traces were found on some clothing. Theories abound. Avalanches, secret military tests, sudden psychological panic, but none fully accounts for the scale of injuries or the deliberate flight from the tent. Whatever confronted the hikers that night, it was enough to make them abandon warmth, safety, and life itself. To this day, Dyatlov Pass remains one of the most chilling and researched unsolved mysteries in history. Thousands of kilometers west, in Cluj County, Romania, Hoia Baciu Forest has been known for centuries as a place to avoid. Records from the late 1700s mention travelers disappearing within its boundaries, while others returned altered, traumatized, or unable to describe the experience. By the 1960s, the forest drew scientific attention. In 1968, a photographer captured a disc-shaped object hovering above the trees. Locals recounted that animals refused to enter certain clearings, and strange, distorted sound were heard even on windless days. One of the most infamous cases occurred in the early 1900s when a shepherd entered with 200 sheep. Neither he nor the animals ever returned. Visitors consistently report nausea, disorientation, and burns appearing on the skin for no discernible reason. Compasses spin uncontrollably. Cameras reveal shapes invisible to the human eye. Trees twist unnaturally, as if rejecting human intrusion. Hoia Baciu Forest is not just a location. It is a test of human presence. In the United States, Centralia, Pennsylvania, is a town reclaimed by fire. On May 27, 1962, a coal seam beneath the town ignited. Early attempts to extinguish it failed. By 1979, smoke rose from fissures in streets and yards. Sinkholes appeared without warning. Families began evacuating, driven not by explosions, but by an oppressive, unseen threat: gas, heat, and the gnawing unease of being underground. By the 1990s, nearly all residents had fled. The fire continues to burn, projected to last centuries. Centralia is not destroyed. It is claimed by the earth itself. Hashima Island, off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan, tells a story of sudden human disappearance and abandonment. Known as Battleship Island, it was densely populated in the early 20th century, housing over 5,000 workers in stacked concrete buildings. On January 15, 1974, the island was abandoned almost overnight when coal reserves were depleted. Classrooms, kitchens, and apartments were left untouched. Today, visitors report hearing echoes of footsteps, faint voices, and a sensation of being observed, as if the island remembers its departed residents. Forests again demonstrate their capacity to disorient and terrify. At the base of Mount Fuji lies Eyawitness Forest, known as the Sea of Trees. Its iron-rich volcanic soil causes compasses to fail. Trees grow thick and absorb sound, leaving footsteps swallowed within meters. Historical accounts from the Edo period describe people abandoning themselves to the forest during times of famine. Modern visitors report losing track of hours, paralyzing despair, and a sensation that the forest imposes an external pressure. Even trained search teams describe entering Eyawitness as confronting a presence rather than a landscape. In Germany, the Black Forest carries its own legacy of disappearance. Medieval travelers recorded losing entire days in the dense woods. Paths looped endlessly, and shadows seemed to follow silently. Hikers today report sudden panic attacks, unexplainable terror, and the instinctive urge to flee. Folklore of spirits, witches, and unseen watchers likely originated as warnings. But the ongoing psychological effects experienced by modern visitors suggest that something intrinsic to the environment itself could distort human perception. Roads, too, can be agents of unease. Route 666, spanning Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, earned a fearsome reputation during the 1950s, 1980s. Drivers reported vanishing hitchhikers, vehicles appearing and disappearing in mirrors, and missing hours of time without explanation. Even after renaming the road in 2003, incidents persisted. No engineering adjustments, signage, lighting, or pavement could alter the phenomena. The highway itself seemed to bend perception and test those who traveled it. The Hashima Island Bridge in Japan demonstrates another form of environmental terror. From a distance, it appears nearly vertical. Drivers panic mid-crossing, abandoning vehicles in fear. No mechanical or engineering failure explains this reaction. The bridge demonstrates how human perception can be manipulated by sheer visual distortion, creating an instant and visceral sense of danger. Some cursed places are less known, but equally terrifying. The catacombs of Paris, a labyrinth of tunnels stretching over 200 miles beneath the city, have long been the site of disappearances. Records from the 18th and 19th centuries describe explorers entering illegally and never returning. Even today, authorities warn that those who stray too deep risk getting lost forever. Air becomes heavy, temperature drops sharply, and the echoes of footsteps can disorient completely. Many who have emerged describe seeing shadows moving independently of any person and hearing whispers with no source. Lake Anjikuni, in Canada, is another eerie phenomenon. In November 1930, the Inuit community of Anjikuni vanished almost overnight. Homes were left intact, food was uneaten, dogs disappeared, and fires were still warm. Investigations could find no evidence of struggle or mass movement. Even decades later, the event remains unexplained, a chilling testament to the fact that entire communities can vanish from the earth without trace. In Siberia, the Tunguska event of June 30th, 1908, though primarily a cosmic explosion, left areas around the Podkamenia Tunguska River mysteriously devoid of life. Trees were flattened in radial patterns, but no crater was found. Locals reported strange phenomena for months afterward: odd lights, unexplained tremors, and animals behaving erratically. While scientists attribute it to a meteoric airburst, the surrounding area became the site of unexplained disappearances in the following decades. Across all of these locations, The patterns are clear: isolation, distortion of perception, sudden and unprovoked fear. Nothing attacks. Nothing chases. The environment itself becomes the agent of terror. Humans respond instinctively, fleeing, freezing, or vanishing altogether. These places are not myths. They are real, documented, persistent. Centralia continues to burn underground. Aokigahara swallows sound and time. Hoia Baciu twists bodies and minds. Dyatlov Pass retains its secrets beneath snow and frost. Hashima Island stands abandoned, yet alive in memory. The Black Forest and Eshima Ohashi Bridge continue to test perception. The catacombs of Paris and Lake Anjikuni remind us that human disappearance is not always gradual. It can be instantaneous. People continue to enter. Some return with stories dismissed as imagination. Others return changed, unable to fully describe what occurred. Some never return at all. The land waits, silently, patiently, recording human presence in ways we cannot measure. If you dare to go to these places, the question remains: will you leave unchanged, or will the place decide for you? Curiosity can be dangerous. Respect the warnings of locals, the accounts of the disappeared, and the history etched into the landscapes around the world. Some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. Some places are meant to remain untouched, and some shadows are better left unexplored. If you found yourself captivated by these stories, consider sharing this video, subscribing for more explorations into the unexplained, and always questioning what lurks beyond the ordinary world. Because the more we seek to understand the unknown, the closer we come to discovering that some truths are darker than we can imagine.